Systems is pleased to present this video introducing the new features present in version 15.0 of our popular JobView accounting software. Ideas for new system features come from loyal users just like you. A good number of these ideas come from our semi-annual user conferences, where serious-minded JobView users gather to share ideas and experiences they've had using JobView. Thank you for your input and the wonderful suggestions you've submitted, making you a valuable partner in our development strategy. I'm going to show you some of these new features and explain their benefits. Keep in mind that there are more new features in version 15.0 than we can show you in this quick video. We've chosen some that are readily apparent and easy to describe using this visual medium. Let's start with a couple of convenience features we're excited to share. First, we've added the ability to keep a running list of to-do items. Click this tile and a list of items appears. You can filter this list using the drop boxes at the top, perhaps to view only the items you entered yourself. For each item, you can specify what type it is and what priority. If it is a task that involves one of the people in your entity databases, you can indicate that here and choose who the meeting is with. Supply a date and possibly a time here. Now enter the details of the task. At the bottom is the status. Set this to Done when the task is complete, and it can be filtered from the list. The second convenience feature is called Reminders. Click this button and we'll talk about this awesome new feature. As you can see, JobView is displaying a number of categories. They represent all different modules of your accounting system and serve as reminders of things that should receive attention. For example, this section itemizes all the accounts payable invoices that are more than 5 days overdue. This section shows all your customers who haven't received a statement in the last 30 days. This section shows you any payroll tax deposits that should be made. This section shows you any over-budget cost codes. And this section shows the to-do list items we talked about a few moments ago. Of course, what good would a reminder list be without providing the opportunity to act on the reminder? This window allows you to do this in two ways. First, if you're looking at an expanded detail line item, double-click or click the View More Information button and the system will show you information about the highlighted item. For example, if I double-click on this invoice, I'll see an invoice overview window. If you double-click on a category heading, the system will take you to the correct program for acting on this reminder. For example, if I double-click on one of these accounts payable invoice categories, the system takes me to Invoice Payment Selection. If I double-click on the Customer Statement category, the system takes me to Statement Printing. If I double-click on the Tax Deposits category, the system takes me to Accounts Payable Invoice Entry, where I can enter or process an invoice to pay my tax deposits. If I double-click on the Over Budget Cost Codes category, the system takes me to Job Setup. Each user has access to this Reminders window and can customize its content through Setup, Preferences. Here on the Reminders tab, each of the reminder categories is represented. For each category, you can indicate whether you want to display the category in summary, that is, not expanded, in detail, that is, expanded, or not at all, which will completely hide this category. For some categories, you can change the parameters. For example, for the Accounts Payable Invoices to Pay category, you can tell how many days out you want to see these invoices. After changing my settings, I can open the Reminders window again and see the display customized to my liking. Speaking of setup preferences, we have enhanced the personalization of the menu bar at the left. Now you can not only choose which menu icons you want displayed, but you can also change their order to your liking. Let's head over to Accounts Payable and look at a few new features there. In invoice entry, I'm going to get to the point where I'm looking up a cost code. You will notice a couple of new things here. First, the list of available cost codes now excludes labor codes, which would usually not be used during invoice entry. Of course, you can display them by checking this box if you choose. Next, you'll notice that the list box now includes columns for budget and cost to date, so you can see at a glance how close you are to reaching your budget limit. Also in Accounts Payable, we've made a couple of changes to the vendor entry window. First, you'll notice a brand new Purchase Order History tab. This operates much like the Invoice History tab, showing all this vendor's purchase orders. Another change that you can't necessarily see on the window is that if you indicate that this vendor needs to receive a 1099, but you neglect to enter a federal ID number, the system will warn you of this when you click the OK button. Here's a fun little addition to Accounts Receivable. Let's say we've issued an invoice to this customer. He hasn't paid, and we'd like to add a collection note to the invoice and send it to him again. We'll add the note here and indicate that we would like to have this note printed on the invoice. Now, when we print the invoice, our note appears, looking like a sticky note attached to the invoice. Here in Payroll W-2 printing, we've changed the access to the electronic W-2 file creation. It is no longer a separate option on this tab. Instead, no matter which federal option you choose, you can have the system include the creation of the electronic W-2 submission file by checking this box. This means the W-2s will print and the submission text file will be created at the same time. If you use the Equipment Costing module and also the Fixed Asset module, you may have noticed that a fixed asset and an equipment record are really one and the same. You may have become frustrated that you have to enter equipment costing related information in one entry window and fixed asset information in a different window accessed from the General Ledger menu. Now, however, you get the same combined entry window whether you open it from the General Ledger menu or from Equipment Costing. This entry window has both equipment costing and fixed asset information fields. Well, that's our new feature summary for this update. Of course, we didn't show all the new features, not by a long shot. To read up on the rest of them, consult your update documentation, or go to the Help menu and select New Features by Revision Level. Now it's time to look forward to version 15.1, scheduled for release in June of 2015.